What's up, YouTube? Brian here from Brian.invests. Woo! New York Knicks up 2-0 against San Antonio Spurs. I want to talk about the New York hustle today and why it's so important to have. And I think myself also need to have this kind of hustle, this kind of passion in order to survive in this world today. So New York Knicks is up 2-0 against in the NBA Finals, and they're up 2 games when they're away, and they're about to go home for another 2 more games. Hopefully, they can close out a series. So I'm a New York Knicks fan. I've mentioned in a video in the past that why I love this team so much, because of their hustle, because of how they embody what New York really is. Jalen Brunson is my guy. He is a small guy, very crafty, can score anywhere on the court, and he's just very calm and poised in pressure situation. He doesn't get flustered and get nervous at all in big moments, and he's the clutchest player in the world right now. So he represents New York in a great way, and people love him in New York, right? Especially when they're winning, and they should. They are on the verge of winning the NBA Finals in over 50 years, and that's a huge deal for New York. People don't know how much, for the new fans out there, I guess like I'm considered like a relatively new fan as well. Like I wouldn't say that. Well, I got to New York more than 20 years ago and I became a fan, right? But when they sucked for like the past 20 years, I stopped watching, right? As any normal person would. And when they're good, you get back into it. And there's just so many near misses, so many misfortune, so many wrong decisions that were made by the organization that made Knicks fan make their blood boil, essentially. It's just infuriating, and they have a lot of pent up anger. That's why you're seeing people on the streets of New York just very passionate and just getting all the emotions out when they are about to win a championship. It's totally justified. And I think it's just so important to have this kind of passion in whatever you do as well, and bring this kind of hustle mentality that the Knicks team has and all New York really has. Everyone hustles there. Everybody, it's like kind of like a dog eat dog world. But there's also, compassion as well, right? But like you, I live in Hong Kong, and I don't really see that kind of passion to for their favorite sports team in Hong Kong. Maybe because there isn't a great sports organization here that people support. The only one that I could tell is the soccer team in Hong Kong, which I don't really watch. But even if I was to compare like the fans' passion versus a few days ago, I think Arsenal won, and I think I saw someone who went to England to watch them do the parade. There's just not that type of atmosphere that New Yorker has, right? You could call them crazy, you could call them lunatics, but it's just a different vibe, Like there's that New York scrappy hustle vibe that they have in New York that cannot be matched anywhere else. And I think I've seen like NBA championships elsewhere in other cities before, but it's just not the same. New York is the biggest market, the most people, the biggest fan base. It would be great for the NBA if they won a championship. It's just great for NBA, great for the viewership, advertisements, just overall promotion of the NBA across the world overall. Why wouldn't they want them to win? I saw, there are, a couple calls like during the game where, it's a little bit questionable that, they want a series to be even, right? Which I don't mind. I want more competitiveness in the series. I don't want it to be a sweep. I want it to, they fight for it. I don't mind that they won. They won outright. Like, even though like there were a lot of calls against them, you could tell the refs are trying very hard to, help nudge San Antonio in some ways to help them out. And they overcame those calls. And that's we'll take whatever we can get. It's of course it's not over. Like all the players, they're all locked in. Still a 0-0 series, anything can happen. They're not letting any mistakes go. They are very aware, NBA finals, anybody can come back. It just takes one injury, one misfortune, it's one player going down, and that could swing the whole entire series. So they're not letting the guards down. They are, very mentally prepared still. So I really like that. And I think that translates really well into the hustle mentality mindset as well. So to bring it all back to myself, I think that's the type of mentality that I also need to have to bring the New York passion, New York hustler mentality to Hong Kong, to the work that I'm doing, to the work that I'm trying to build, to the life that I'm trying to build here. So this video is just a reminder for that. Let's go next. Next in 4. Thanks for watching. Thank you.